The morning sun filtered gently through gauzy curtains, painting the room in soft gold. It was the kind of quiet, peaceful light that made everything feel suspended in time, perfect for a secret. In a secluded estate tucked far away from the flashing lights and relentless buzz of Hollywood, something extraordinary was unfolding. No paparazzi waited outside the gates. No headlines had yet whispered the news. Inside those walls, love, real, steady, deeply earned love, was about to be sealed in a way no one had expected. Carlo Rota stood by the window, adjusting his cufflinks with a calm that only came from certainty. He wasn't nervous, not in the way most grooms might be. Instead, there was a quiet gravity in him, a sense of profound gratitude. Years of life, experience, and love had led him here, to this moment. Behind him, his closest friend leaned casually against the doorframe. "You're taking this surprisingly well," he teased. Carlo smirked faintly, glancing at his reflection. "When you know," he replied simply. And he did know. Across the estate, in a sunlit room filled with fresh flowers, Nazneen Contractor stood before a mirror, her fingers lightly brushing over the delicate fabric of her dress. It wasn't extravagant. It didn't need to be. Elegant, timeless, and quietly stunning. It was her in every sense. Her sister adjusted the veil gently. "You're glowing," she said softly. Nazneen smiled, her eyes shining, not with nerves, but with something deeper. Peace, joy, a love that had grown steadily, away from public spectacle, rooted in something real. "I feel ready," she whispered. This wasn't a whirlwind romance. It wasn't built on grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Their story had unfolded slowly, naturally, two lives intersecting through work, mutual respect, and shared understanding. It began, as many stories do, on set. Working together had been easy from the start. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, first about scripts, then about life, then about everything in between. There was a warmth between them that others noticed before they did. "He looks at you differently," a colleague once told Nazneen, half-jokingly. She had laughed it off then, but later she thought about it, because she had noticed it too, and she realized she looked at him the same way. Their connection wasn't loud. It didn't demand attention. It grew in quiet moments, shared laughter between takes, thoughtful conversations that lingered long after work ended, the comfort of simply being around each other. For Carlo, who had lived a full and complex life, there was something grounding about Nazneen. She brought lightness where there had once been weight. For Nazneen, Carlo offered depth, a steady presence, a sense of safety and understanding that felt rare and precious. They didn't rush it. They didn't need to. Months turned into years, and somewhere along the way, friendship became something more. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. The first time Carlo reached for her hand outside of work, it felt natural, as if it had always been meant to happen. And when she didn't pull away, he knew. From that moment on, everything changed. But also somehow, everything stayed the same. They still laughed the same way, still talked for hours, still found comfort in each other's presence. Only now, there was love woven into every glance, every word, every quiet moment. Back at the estate, guests had begun to gather. It was a small group, intimate, carefully chosen, close friends, family, people who mattered, no press, no spectacle, just love. A soft breeze carried the scent of jasmine through the garden where the ceremony would take place. White chairs lined a simple aisle, petals scattered gently along the path. At the end stood a modest arch adorned with greenery and flowers, not overly styled, just beautifully real. Carlo stepped outside, taking a slow breath. This was it. He had never been one for grand displays, but this moment, this commitment, felt bigger than anything else in his life. His friend clapped him lightly on the shoulder. "Still calm?" Carlo smiled. "Ask me in 5 minutes." Inside, Nazneen took one last look at herself. She didn't see just a bride. She saw everything that had led her here, the choices, the experiences, the growth, the love. And she felt grateful. Her father stepped beside her, offering his arm. "Ready?" he asked gently. She nodded, her voice soft but steady. "Yes." The music began, simple, understated, perfect. Guests turned as Nazneen stepped into the sunlight. There was a collective intake of breath, not because of extravagance, but because of authenticity. She looked radiant, not just in appearance, but in presence. Carlo turned, and for the first time that day, his composure faltered, not with nerves, with emotion, because in that moment, seeing her walk toward him, everything became real in a way words couldn't capture. This wasn't just a ceremony, this was the culmination of something deeply meaningful. Nazneen walked slowly, each step deliberate, her gaze fixed on him. When she reached the end of the aisle, their eyes met fully, and neither looked away. The officiant began, but the words seemed to fade into the background, because for them, everything important was already understood. When it came time for vows, Carlo went first. He didn't pull out a piece of paper, he didn't need one. "I've lived a lot of life," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "And I thought I understood what love was. But then I met you." Nazneen's eyes softened. "You didn't just change my life," he continued. "You made it better in ways I didn't even know were possible. You brought light into places I didn't realize had been dim for so long." A pause. "I promise to stand by you, to support you, to laugh with you, and to face whatever comes, with you. Always." Nazneen took a breath before speaking. "I never believed in perfect timing," she said softly, "but somehow you came into my life exactly when you were meant to." Carlo smiled faintly. "You've shown me what it means to be truly seen, truly understood, and in you, I found not just love, but partnership, friendship, and home." Her voice wavered slightly. "I promise to choose you, every day, in every way that matters." There wasn't a dry eye among the guests, because what they were witnessing wasn't just beautiful, it was real. The rings were simple, elegant, meaningful. As they exchanged them, there was a quiet sense of something profound settling into place. "By the power vested in me," the officiant said with a smile, "I now pronounce you husband and wife." A pause. "You may kiss." And when they did, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't theatrical. It was gentle, sincere, and full of everything they had built together. The applause that followed wasn't loud. It was warm, heartfelt, because everyone present understood they had just witnessed something rare, not a spectacle, but a truth. The celebration that followed was just as intimate as the ceremony. Long tables set under the open sky, soft lighting, laughter filling the air. No formal schedule, no rigid structure, just people enjoying the moment. Carlo and Nazneen moved through their guests hand in hand, stopping to talk, to laugh, to simply be present. At one point they slipped away, just for a moment, walking together through the quiet garden, away from the voices and lights. Carlo glanced at her. "So," he said softly, "we did it." Nazneen smiled. "We did." They stopped, standing beneath a tree illuminated by soft lights. For a moment, neither spoke. They didn't need to, because everything that mattered had already been said. In their vows, in their journey, in the quiet understanding between them. Carlo reached for her hand again, not because he needed to, but because he wanted to, and she held on just as tightly. As the night continued, the stars appeared one by one, watching silently over the celebration below. No headlines had broken yet. No public announcements had been made. And that was exactly how they wanted it. Because this moment, this day, wasn't for the world. It was for them. For the love they had built, protected, and chosen, together. And somewhere, in the quiet space between what had been and what would come next, there was a simple, undeniable truth. Some of the most beautiful stories aren't the ones told loudly. They're the ones lived quietly, and this was just the beginning. Thank you for watching. Write what you think about it. Subscribe to the channel.